All right. It's been a minute. Been working on a bunch of records, and mixing a bunch of songs. A bunch of stuff's coming out in the new year, so it's been super exciting. Over on my YouTube channel, I had a request to break down some production that I did on the iamhill sound pack that we made. It's called Nobody Wants to Be My Friend. If you type IAH, iamhill, IAH, into Splice, it's everywhere. But I had a request on the YouTube channel to break down kind of how we made it and just kind of go through, some of the weird sound designy things that we did. So basically, I haven't looked at these sessions since we made them. So I thought I would just start by playing a little bit of the song. Yeah, so lots of weird, dark sound designy things, lots of strange found object stuff, lots of things that sound like something but were her voice, I think. We did a bunch of that on this pack, so we'll see what we actually did in here, though. So let's start where we started, I believe where we started the song, with this sound. And that was made in flowmotion. Started with a preset because this is one of the first songs we made for the pack, and we literally didn't know where to start. Just played a little line and just chopped it up into audio. So this sound, which comes in later in the bridge, was also done right at the beginning. And that one was literally a vocal. So that into some hard auto-tune. Auto-tune is just, grabbing it and making it notes in the key. Then some alter point to get it tuned down. And then make it gross. And then some LFO tool. And then some mod delay. This is the stock Pro Tools delay. I use it all the time because it doesn't sound like anything. I use it to make things real wide using some Haas delay. That's pretty long for a Haas delay, but it still works. We end up there. And then we've got some gates on it. Some plate reverb that's gated, just to make it feel even a little bit weirder and wider. So those were kind of the two elements that we had to start. And then it was like, well, what the heck do we do with that? So we made a little drum loop. We were doing stuff in Kick 2, and not using their tops, just using the synthesis engine. And then a little bit of lo-fi, and we got this kick. Pretty basic kick. And then that wasn't really obviously bringing us out, so we just made a couple more kick layers. So these three kicks here, this one, and this one, those are the basis of that drum groove. So then you pair that with that wow that we chopped. And that wow doesn't happen on the one. Moved it over. Yeah, pretty great. Enjoy that a lot. So that was kind of the basis of the whole song, right? We started writing, trying to figure out some vocal things to put over it, trying to figure out if we needed chords, if we didn't need chords. And while we were doing that, Hill just started whistling. So that is her whistling. It's literally what you hear. Distortion, some micro shift to widen it out. Not doing anything with Mix Hub. Yeah, I don't think I was doing anything with that. Lots of soothe because it's resonating like crazy. Because it's a whistle. Whistles always resonate. And then some Echo Boy. Just making it spacey, floaty. Printed all that. So yeah. So there's a whistle. There's the drums, those kick patterns, and the bass. And we were trying to get a good take of that whistle. And what ended up happening was, between takes, singers say things. And what she said was...
It's hard to whistle.
And I thought that was hilarious to start a song with, about, that starts with a whistle with something that says it's hard to whistle. So I time stretched it.
It's hard to whistle.
Verified it. Speeded it, I guess. Speed and slowed it down. And then pitched it down an octave below that. And when I did that, it kind of came up with this like cool thing where it felt like a groove. And so I distorted it more and put some glossy microshift on it, and then just did some filter because the filter, it made it feel more like an intro. And then that's how the song starts now. So, stupid inside joke, but those are the kinds of things that I like to do in tracks because we know what she said there, but no one else is ever going to know what it is. They're just going to think it's a growly little synth thing, but we know that it's about the whistle. So these are the kind of things that you do when you make records for a while. So once we had that groove, we kind of wrote over it. But it was feeling a little bit empty. So we added this 808 under it. And I don't know where that is. I thought I had that. Oh, it's right there. There's the 808. Pretty sure that's a Serum patch that I made. I went through this phase a couple years ago where I was doing all my 808s in Serum because I could make them and get exactly the attack, release, everything that I wanted. So, yeah. You can take a look at that patch if you want. The idea initially with this sound pack was to also release a Serum pack with it. And then it just ended up that didn't work for a bunch of logistic reasons. That didn't work out. But I did make a bunch of stuff in Serum. So this is actually pretty simple sound. Not a whole lot going on. I mean, there's a bunch there, but really, it's just an 808. 808. Lots of this stuff isn't really doing a lot. There's a bunch of stuff mapped to macros, so I can change sounds. But I think I turned a bunch of things off because I wasn't using it. So anyway, so the 808, and then after I just gritted it up with an overdrive and got some more harmonics out of it when we were mixing. Just tamed that bottom end a little bit with Soothe, which which is a trick I've done for a long time after adding a bunch of bottom with our bass, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, so made that 808 to sit under. Because the 808 is so in time with those drums, you know, with those kick layers and everything, when we got to doing the actual verse, there was a lot of space there and I could drop some stuff out. So when that verse actually comes in, it's mostly just that 808 and the kick and that wow. And the kick there. Yeah, so that's the majority of that verse. And to further differentiate, you know, in that intro we've got all those layers and stuff, but I also brought this percussion in. And we had spent a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days before we started actually designing the sound pack, just collecting found object stuff. So that's what that actually is. And we can look at what it's made of in here. So it's that sound. Just that little piece. And then some kind of cork. I think we were, you know, those like cork hot plates that you put like pots on when they come off the stove. I think that's what that is. I don't remember how we made that. I don't remember that either. Anyway, these are all things that we made before, so we just had random sounds that we could drop in, and then distorted it. This is a great overdrive. Love that pedal. And then some Sarverb. Super, super tight. And some of the Auto Biscuit. Just doing some bit crushing, got a bit turned off there, and just some filter and clock speed. Just trying to make it grosser, grittier. And it's doing kind of a weird rhythm, but with those kicks, it really makes sense. So that kick is kind of like also in a weird pattern. We can look at that. It's again made in Kick 2, no tops are on there. Just using the sub engine. Sounds nice and punchy. And then making it gross. And then making it nice and wide. Nice and big. It's crazy how much texture that reverb adds. I swear they should give me a sponsorship. I use it all over the place. It's great sounding, great, terrible sounding reverb. So that's how we made that. But this other kick was a little tricky. I don't remember why. But we couldn't quite get what we wanted from it using just the sub engine in Kick 2. So I made some tops and added them. I don't remember what I made them out of. Something little. Probably grabbed a clap from my my Waldorf, or maybe from my Moog or something. I don't remember where. And then just some altar boy to pitch it down. Sour verb again, and more Auto Biscuit. But with that, yeah, it sounds amazing. And then distorting it all together to kind of glue it together into one cohesive sound. So that was how I made the second kick. So then we've got all three. Oh, broke everything. But then we've got all three kicks. and the weird percussion and the whistling and the wow. The only other thing that's in there is this little growl bass. And that is 100% Serum. And that's pretty simple. I mean, like, as far as sound design goes, that's not really... It's just a little whoop. Not even moving filters, nothing. Just some envelope. So that's pretty boring. I mean, it sounds good. Serves a function in the song. So, yeah, so then obviously lots of what makes the song work as a song is the vocal.
I've been okay, have you been fine? I don't miss you, I'm so ice cold. That's some nice tea, frozen in time. Have to look back to watch me go. Find a new bitch, get a new life. Block out my noise, ayo, ayo. The everyday cage, keep your girl safe. Don't let her know, I know you know.
So single vocal for most of that verse, and delivery is pretty close, pretty small, lots of inflection and like kind of cool gravelly bits. And what I did to make it feel a little bit more awkward, like in the music and like just sonically stand out a bit, is I put this gated plate that I have pre-made in most of my sessions, put that on there, and that really helped. So you can hear how it's cutting and chopping and gross, and that's what I'm looking for with a gated plate. I want it to sound bad.
Ayo, ayo. The everyday cage, keep your girl safe. Don't let her know, I know you know.
I want it to play with the space that's around the vocal and chop that up. So anyway, so that's what we were doing there. Water. Yeah, so we had that. We had some little ad libs here. She sang just a whole bunch of ad libs,
Get your new life.
and we just pulled the ones that we liked.
Don't let her know that I know.
And this plugin is awesome. It's a Wave plugin. I think they did it for free one Christmas or New Year's or something. They just gave it out. And I grabbed it because I'm always looking for different weird distortion plugins. Other than that, all that's on there, I believe, is auto-tune and like a little bit of compression and stuff. So, maybe some other distortion and there's a lot on there. Some delays.
Get your new life.
And then, but the cool part in that verse, aside from just like the vocal being super cool, and I love that verse,
I have to look back to watch me go.
is this ad lib.
Find a new bitch, get your new life. Block out my noise, ayo, ayo. The everyday cage, keep your girl
That
safe. Don't let
ayo,
her know,
ayo.
I know you know. She
And that's pretty iamhill. That's like a very signature thing that she would do in there, that type of vocal. It's kind of fun to make those. We kind of came across that accidentally. I'll kind of show you just what it sounds like without all the things on it.
ayo, ayo.
So still pretty cool.
Ayo, ayo.
All these layers.
Ayo, ayo. Ayo, ayo. Ayo, ayo.
Different inflections, different pitches. Really trying to make it sound like a group of people.
Ayo, ayo.
And then it's just a little bit of EQ. But then the trick that I love doing is format shifting in a group of vocals with Alter Boy, because Alter Boy is not designed to do that. You are supposed to do one thing at a time. It is monophonic, and it gets very confused. But that's kind of what I like about doing it on the group.
Ayo, ayo.
Yeah, because it doesn't really know what to do, so it kind of makes it sound even weirder than it would if you format shifted each vocal. And then just a little bit of reverb to make it seem like it's in the background. You know, just some EQ and some imaging. Just getting stuff out wide. And that's it. Really great little ad-lib gang vocal thing in the verse. And that's it. We're through the verse then. That's all there is. So then we get into the chorus. And in the chorus, not a lot happens that's different from the verse. Just going along. Most of what changes is vocal. Yeah, so drums stay mostly the same. Right, still that single kick. Halfway through, that percussion comes back. That's it. Nothing really going on there new. Same wow. And same 808. What changes is the vocal.
Can't be me, I hope she never has to meet me. Can't be me, I hope she never has to meet me. Can't be me.
So detuned vocal, it's pitch shifted down with Alter Boy, and then some micro shift to get it out wide. A little bit of verb on there, I believe. And then we've got all the back, like the hype vocal, the ad-lib, I guess you'd call it, vocal in between them.
She can't be me, I hope she never has to meet me.
Auto-tuned. And then we've got this whole stack of harmonies here, which are great.
She can't be me, I hope she never has to meet me.
Really outlining the chord changes, of which there hasn't really been any in the song yet, because it's kind of just one note drone for all of this is one note drone. So now we have our first little bit of harmony, because there's no harmony even in the vocal melody really in that first verse. It's like implied stuff, but nothing really firm. So we did this little harmony stack.
She can't be me, I hope she never has to meet me. Can't be me, I hope she never.
And then we get into this little re-intro section.
She's gonna cry.
And that clap, I believe, is a Leviathan clap. Black Octopus, the label that put the sample pack out for us, gifted us all these samples that we could use for inspiration. And this was a case where I think I tried building a couple claps, and I just couldn't get anything that I really liked, and I just looked through their sample pack and used it. So even people who make samples use sample packs. Fun tip. So we did that, and then I made this bass bomb. And the other thing that's happening there is some delay. Which is very fun. And then this, which is also super fun. And then both of them together. Crazy. So so that is the same delay throw processed a couple different ways. So one of them is, I believe this is riding the filter. It's bouncing around with Pan Man. And we've got a bunch of automation on Formant there. You can see. So that's one of them is treated that way. I think I might have bypassed the filter for the final version actually, but yeah. So there's a lot going on that delay throw. And then this one, I'm sure similarly. Yes, Formant. those are on the vocal, and then at the end, I verified it. I think I verified both of them. Looks like probably, yep, verified them. So that's tape stop for people that don't speak Pro Tools.
I know that she could never be me.
And then just another little ad lib. Pretty clean, pretty normal sounding compared to what just happened with the vocals. And then this bass bomb. It started off as an 808, and I changed the attack envelope to whatever weird curve that is. Fun. Super fun. We've got some a little bit of hyper and a little bit of dimension, not much on either. Oh, hyper's totally off. Oh, dimension's off. I just didn't bypass it. Linear fold. Linear fold's amazing. Just does all sorts of weird crap. And then just a little bit EQ there. But the real magic is this LFO here. You can see is doing the coarse pitch and the wavetable position of oscillator A. We are driving some automation on the distortion. Oh yeah, we are. Cool. So that's why it gets so gross. Oh, and it didn't even... I bet I had a different wavetable there originally, because that wavetable doesn't really change. A little bit. It kind of... I doubt if you'd hear that. But, and then coarse pitch. Doing some pitch stuff on the second. Yeah. So you get that weird... Anyway, that's a super fun patch. Lots of linear fold. Linear fold distortion is incredible for weird sound design stuff. Use a lot of it. That is basically most of the sounds in the song. We've got this. Did we talk about this? I don't think we did. That's a very cool thing we should discuss. There was a little period here where I was really into using all bits of people's voices that would be discarded normally and turning that into little percussion loops. What I got was all these little bits of vocal. I don't think there's a way to go back to it, but all these little bits of vocal that I then kind of like squished and then manipulated. So I'll show you here what started off. So it's little consonant, little bits of consonant, little bits of spoken stuff in there, some breaths. So that's a little breath right here. Little breath. Little slice of a word. Breath. Different breath and start of a word. And then just slamming it into an L1. Mostly for volume, but also just to control things a little bit. And then some altar boy. And that's what's in the song. Yeah, so that's super fun. Super fun. So that's also in that verse. It comes in halfway under those drums. Just adding texture. Without it, it feels a little empty. With it, it's just like that little ear candy. You don't know that something's happening. It's kind of like, record crackle. So second verse, we go through that, go through another chorus, another big harmony stack, some new delays, and then we get that face bass along with that second bass bomb. That guy. Or I guess it is technically a girl. That face fuzz along with that bass bomb second time just to give it something new. And then we get a couple new elements here. So new stuff that comes in, obviously the lead vocal is heavily treated I can unfreeze that and show you kind of what that looked like. Although it does come back later, so you can hear it then. But we may as well just show you now since we're here. So it sounds just like a vocal. And I think what had happened is Hill had sung that there and knowing that she wanted to write words for that piece in that melody. But I liked it as it was. So we used it and then did some crazy format automation. I would go and draw this in. You can see it was probably in this reintro at one point too, but then we didn't need it. Yeah, so format and then pushing it back in the mix. And the reason I'm pushing it back in the mix like that with the delay or with the reverb is because in the next section, I want the vocal to come forward when she starts singing the lyrics. That's why I'm doing that. It's not just because it sounds cool, although it does sound cool. But the reason is so that the next section, I know that it's coming with lyrics, so I can push it forward. And then just compression, EQ, blah, 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 normal stuff. Oh, parallel particles. Haven't seen that plugin in a while. Crazy. Lots of format there, just trying to get it to sound weird, but still feel like something that was sung because it was. Down here, we've got these vocals. Pretty cool. Just a little filter, a little bit of phaser on there. Other than that, it's just how as she sang it. So, just a little harmony stack, left and right. So, yeah. So we've got the crazy format shifted vocal over that little harmony, and again, the harmony is adding this element of harmonic content to the song. So that it's not just this drony 808 and this drony bass line. So the lyrics come in and it's still pushed way back. Then it moves forward. And it's very clear, directly sang, intended to be up front and center. Great vocal, super hard melody to sing. And then we get into the fun section. My favorite little section of the song here, where essentially we got to add a bunch of weird sounds. So far, we've really only had the clap, the kicks, and percussion for drums, and then this like weird little loop that I made out of Hill's mouth noises, basically. So now we get a few more random things. The day that we made this, Hill was, had a water bottle in the session, as singers tend to do when they're taking care of their voice and hydrating properly. She opened the bottle and it squeaked, and we both stopped whatever it was that we were doing at that second. Was like, that sounds amazing. Stopped what we were doing and recorded water bottles. And I'm sure somewhere in this session is a track. I don't know where it would be, but I'm sure somewhere in that list is a track of water bottle. But what made it into the song? So fun. I dropped it in battery because that makes things a lot easier a lot of the time. You can see some of the sounds we were referencing and stuff in here too. Some Sophie stuff and some other kicks and stuff that I was just comparing A-Bing against to make sure we're in the ballpark when we're making the pack. But yeah, squeaky right there. Throw it through some bit crushing, flipping one of the bits around. Take a little bit of top off there. Pretty resonant. A little bit of the dry coming through. One of my favorite sounds on the whole pack. Also, got a little scrape there. We dropped something on the floor. And that is literally just some distortion and some verb. And then the final new sound is the clink. And I love that sound. When we were doing the sound design stuff, the couple days before we started actually making the pack, we were just collecting random things. We would do things at tempos that were only in our heads, not to clicks, because I like dropping stuff in that feels out of tempo. I think you get interesting subdivisions, and that's one of those things. So in battery, so you can see it went on much longer. I only took as many hits as I thought we needed. More reverb and just narrowing it a little bit. It feels like it kind of comes from in front of you. So all those new elements really add up to quite a big change in such a minimalist song. And then the percussion comes back and all the extra kicks. We drop the 808, so we get space for all those extra things. And that's it. That's the song. Beyond that, there's just a couple little delay throws. That one's just like a little delay throw into a verb, and then the verb goes 100% wet. But that's it. Thanks for hanging out and checking out the breakdown of the production, sound design, sample pack making of Meet Me by iamhill. Like I said, if you are wanted to check out the samples, you can grab them Black Octopus Sounds, or you can anywhere if you've got Splice or ADSR or any of those places, you can grab them there. Just search iamhill, and it should pop up for you. If you enjoyed this, leave a comment. Let me know. If there's other stuff you would like me to do, also let me know. Down for whatever crazy ideas. If you've got sound design tips, man, I love that stuff. So hit me up. You can leave a comment here, but also hit me up on Instagram. I hang out there most of the time, so definitely find me there. Goddammit Michael, which is there. That's me. So anyway, I'll probably put it down here somewhere too. I really appreciate y'all hanging out and watching this. See y'all soon. Peace.